Hello, my name is NJ Franco, twice published author with another two books on the way, and this is how I know when I am done editing my book. Now, first off, I do not edit my book while I write, and I highly discourage anyone else from doing the same. I know it's hard to fight that urge, but just try because you have to remember that writing a book is a multi-step process, okay? There is a writing step and then there is an editing step. There is no point combining the two steps into one. So when you're writing the book, just remind yourself like, hey, I'm writing my book now. Editing, that comes later. No point editing it now because that's a later step and I have time for that later. Right now, I'm just writing and I need to remember that, okay? I know it's hard, but just try. Anyway, so once I finish writing my first draft of the manuscript, something I do and something a lot of other authors do is I will set that manuscript aside for 1 month. A lot of authors choose a longer time. Some authors do 6 months, some do a year. I'm good with just a month. So I'll set the manuscript aside for 1 month so I can look at that manuscript with fresh eyes once it's time to finally start editing it. Okay. So after 1 month is up, and it's time to start editing it, the first thing I will do is I will make a note of what the overall word count of the manuscript is at that time. And I will write it down somewhere or just make a note of it somewhere, okay? Then I will just start reading the manuscript and making changes as I see fit, changing the wording in sentences, expanding on scenes, possibly deleting scenes, whatever I see fit as I read through the manuscript. Once I've done that one time, I will then make a note of what the new word count is, and then I will rinse and repeat, set the manuscript aside for 1 month so I can look at it with fresh eyes, possibly go work on another project or something like that while I wait. But I will set it aside for 1 month again, and then rinse and repeat once 1 month is up, bring the manuscript back, make a note of what the word count is, and start reading through again, making changes, and expanding on scenes, deleting scenes, whatever I see fit, until I am able to read my manuscript all the way through. I determine that I'm finally done, rinse and repeating this whole process over and over and over. Once I'm able to fully read through a manuscript and have the overall word count change by less than 100 words from the start to the beginning. Okay? Now, that never happens on the first draft or the second draft or even the third draft. That's like 4, 5, 6 drafts down the road that I'm finally able to have a manuscript where my overall word count changed by less than 100 words. Okay, because most of the times with the first draft or with my first round of edits, I end up expanding on the manuscript by like 6,000 words. And then the second draft, I expand on it by like another 2,000 words, and then like 800 words, and then like 500 words. And then finally, like 5, 6, 7 drafts later, the difference in the beginning and the end of the manuscript, the word count at the beginning and the word count at the end, is a difference of like 80 words. And then that's when I'm like, all right, finally, I've edited this book enough because at this point, the changes that I'm making are going to be so minute that they really don't matter because you're never going to have your manuscript perfect, okay? So you have to find a place to finally stop. And with me, it's when the overall word count changes by less than 100 words. I'm like, that is good enough. Time to set it off to my editor. So I have a publishing company that I work with. So your round of edits are only going to be so good. So I still encourage you to find other editors to look at it, hire an editor or get with a publishing company or something like that. But yeah, that's how I know when I'm done with my own personal edits before I send it to my publishing company and have them edited even further after that. Okay? It's just what I do. It's what makes sense for me.